Today I fucked up by giving my boyfriend's dad a sneak peek. Today I fucked up by giving my boyfriend's dad a sneak peek. My boyfriend and I both still live with our parents, so finding alone time can present a challenge at times. Thursday night we decided that I would go over to his house the next morning to watch a movie and chill. His mom was out at work, and only his dad was home. I showed up bright and early at 8:30 and greeted his father before being led upstairs. Context: his dad is a very sweet 70-year-old East Asian man, who served in his country's navy and traveled around the world. A man I have the utmost respect for. After watching a cheesy kung fu movie that my boyfriend had begged me to watch, we finally got our alone time together. The only article of clothing we didn't manage to get off was a super tight sports bra. Not thinking anything of it, we started going through our after sex routine, which includes me going across the hall to the bathroom. Here is where I fucked up. I didn't put on any clothes. Normally my boyfriend gives me one of his boxing robes, but I was so focused on not dripping on the floor that I slipped out of his room. At the same time his dad was leaving his room. We made eye contact and his eyes went huge. I, very quickly, turned around and slammed the door shut to my boyfriend's room. I stood there with my half-naked back pressed against his door with my eyes closed, trying my best to not die from embarrassment. After pestering me for a few minutes I broke down and told him all about it. He held me while he laughed and while I cried, apologizing over and over again. On my way out I didn't even have the heart to say bye to his father, I just left. I don't think I can ever go back. Too long didn't read. I flashed my boyfriend's father after sex and I'm too embarrassed to ever go back. Edit: my boyfriend says his father was a sailor, not a Navy man. My bad. Sounds like he's been there and done that. I wouldn't stress too much. I reckon he probably had a wee moment of pride in his son tbh. In all honesty, you probably made his entire year. It can only go up from here. Oh, I'm sure it did go up. Please tell me it was Kung Fu Hustle XD. Lol, no, it was about a guy named Master IP lol. It's honestly not that big a deal lol. Funny though. Today I fucked up by having to give my grandmother the talk about the internet. Not today but last year my grandmother got a tablet and I was showing her how to use the internet, how to search for things like the online places she shops at and how to do an online shop, card and data safety, Doris Day videos on YouTube etc. Now the problem happened when we were on YouTube and watching old adverts like the old Tetley ads, and she used to enjoy one before Coronation Street years ago with a cat. To my shock my very Scottish Nana typed "wee brown pussy" ad on. When I seen that I grabbed the tablet off her before she could hit enter and see anything that may shock her. I then had to explain that for that search you should put old cat advert before Coronation Street and explain that what you see on the internet can't be unseen. That you had to be careful how you type things and that there are dark parts of the internet that I don't know about and she doesn't want to know about. Didn't want to scare her, so just told her to be specific when searching for things. Then moved on and watched an old catchphrase on YouTube. But I will always remember that conversation, and it's a conversation I never thought I'd ever have to have. Too long didn't read. Showed my nana how to use internet and then had to give her the talk about what you see on the internet you can't unsee. NB. Thank you so much to the kind stranger for the lovely gold award. Made my day. Profound heart. Thanks for the laugh, Lamau. Thanks. I thought this would be perfect for Redditland to enjoy. My nana never pressed enter, so it's all laughable. Hungry face. You can also go into the settings and do parental guides. In the US, we have a chain of sporting goods stores called Dick's. They were a little late to claim the domain name for a long time. Dick's.com led to a porn site, as my poor mother discovered one afternoon. Thankfully they have since purchased that domain, but for her, the damage was already done lol. Oh no, I'm sorry that happened to her. Hopefully she recovered, smiley face. Pro tip: use DuckDuckGo. It has options for showing / not showing NSFW content. Or cool, I've not heard of that before. Thanks very much. Ran the search for you. Google results are all about urinary infections. Images are a lot more interesting. Thanks. I never thought to do the search. I was worried about the imagery that would come up, so I'm glad I took it off her in time. Today I fucked up by getting way too fucked up before my best friend's wedding. Too long didn't read, at the bottom. So, a little backstory to what should have been one of the greatest experiences, a best friend's wedding. The three of us were best friends in high school. Friend A, who's getting married, who I shall refer to as Ben. Friend B, I'll call Peter, and then myself. Ben was always kind of a reserved and seemingly shy person, so it was a bit of a shock to us when he told us he met this girl and they were hitting it off. They continued dating for a few years through high school and into college. Fast forward to about 3 or so years ago, we get the news that they're getting married. Peter and myself are obviously stoked. Ben tells us he wants both of us, along with one of his friends from a school he used to go to be groomsmen. Obviously we say yes and are even more stoked. The year and a half or so prior to that, I developed a nice little drinking habit. So I was at that little peak at the top of Mount. I can absolutely handle my liquor because I'm a badass and drink every day right before the cliff called I need to fucking quit drinking. They set the date and he hands us note cards to put our tuxedo sizes on. I pretty well know my sizes at this point, but my girlfriend insisted I go get my sizes taken professionally at Men's Warehouse. At my measurements taken, they looked a bit off, but with the weight I'd gained drinking every day, I didn't think much of it. The day before the wedding comes and Peter and myself carpool to the hotel we were staying at. We go and meet Ben and his fiance's family and grab our tuxes, which after trying on for the first time, turns out to all be way the fuck too big. We hadn't met her yet and were pleased by how incredibly nice and bubbly she was. Now I should also mention I have pretty bad social anxiety, so from the moment I got there, I was massively on edge, constantly fidgeting if I could get away with it unnoticed and bucking my knee. As nice as everyone was, I could not wait to get out of that situation. We finally say goodnight and Peter, Ben's friend and myself all decide to go back to our room and hang out and drink a bit. Ben decides not to drink. Here's where the shit hits the fan. I had brought my little NES, so we could play Mario and whatever. We have a couple of beers and take a few shots out of the giant bottle of Jameson I brought with me and didn't want to take back home. We're having a great time hanging out and chatting. Ben finally decides to call it a night and reminds us all not to get too drunk, to which I naturally reply in, for some reason, an almost bragging tone, no worries, I do this every day. He leaves and I'm already pretty drunk. We continue gaming and chatting, but I'm at the point where I can't talk well and am slurring pretty badly. I get annoyed with that and the last thing I remember I taking a half a solo cup shot. This is the point where a bathroom break may be required. I finally come to in the morning with Peter and Ben's friend getting ready. They ask me how I was doing and I was fine aside from a slight hangover. Pro tip, if you're drinking a fuck ton of liquor, make sure you drink a fuck ton of water. I look next to my bed and my sport coat I'd worn the night prior had vomit on it. I ask what happened and they said I puked all over myself and they'd had to clean me up. I was quite embarrassed but shit happens. Peter helps me up to go take a shower. I get into the bathroom and look in the mirror and there is a huge gash on the bridge of my nose. It was still bleeding a bit and there was quite a bit of pus oozing out yet. I frantically run out and ask what the fuck happened. They said they'd walked to Taco John's while I was asleep and they came back to me on the floor having smashed my face into something. To this day, I still have no idea what actually happened. I take a shower, vomit a bit more and get my not so hilariously oversized tux on and we make our way to the church. We arrive, Ben sees my face and asked what happened. We tell him and he isn't mad, just disappointed. His sister then tries her best to clean my face up a bit. I feel fucking awful. Definitely the lowest point in my life so far right there. People keep arriving and we finally set up for the rehearsal. The coordinator goes over the rules and we get ready to go out. We're all paired up with someone to lock arms with up to the stage. As soon as the coordinator says who I'm with I see the look of oh god I have to walk down with this fucking idiot. We finally get through the rehearsal and at this point, I am the most anxious I've ever been in my life, and very much want to go and run in front of a buzz. We finally get to the main event and run through the ceremony. Then of course we had the dinner where we have to sit up on stage with hundreds of people I don't know, staring at me with a huge gash on my face and a clownishly huge tuxedo. If you'd have asked me beforehand what my biggest nightmare was, I could not have imagined something so awful. After what seemed like the entire amount of time it took for the earth to form to its current state, the dinner was finally over. Finally a bit of of relief as I could sit in with the audience and not have everyone facing me. At this point, I'm sitting in the dark while the first dance happens. I get the text from my girlfriend that had gotten out of work early and was about there. Another big rush of relief. Before she gets there, after the first dance, someone says over the PA that everyone is to find a partner they don't know to go up and dance. Because of course that would happen. Right now I'm getting flashbacks from school where myself and the weird kid were the only ones not picked. Someone grabs me and we go up. Haven't the slightest clue how to dance, so I'm very awkwardly thrusting about waiting for the song to end. It finally does and I almost run back to the safety of my seat that I've grown quite fond of. My girlfriend finally gets there so I won't have to be the one person sitting by themselves. She questions what happens to my face and I tell her. At this point, she's not surprised, which brought on the shitty realization of what I was doing with my life wasn't affecting only myself. As I sit in the glorious feeling of relief, of course she wants to go up and dance. I refuse at first, she asks again, and I, not wanting to be an entire asshole, relent and we go up for another bout of random thrusting. We go sit down and then dance a few more times, and each time it was harder and harder to convince myself to go up as I'd really gotten into my head by now. The dancing stops and we go back to socializing and we find out there's a photo booth. On a good day, I fucking hate taking pictures because I've got dog shit for self-esteem and think I normally look fucking stupid, but today, holy fucking shit, the photo booth is the last place I want to be. We go through the rounds of group photos with my today I fucked up friends and stupid, fucked up me and sets with just my today I fucked up girlfriend and dumbass fucked up me. As we get the pictures back, the realization that not only has my self-esteem gone down to the lowest it's ever been, but there's photographic evidence of what happened. I wasn't badly depressed before, but holy shit was it spiking at that moment. Finally, it winds up. We say our goodbyes and leave. As I'm driving my girlfriend home, I have the second worst "oh god what the fuck am I doing with my life" feeling I've ever had. I internalized a bit afterward and decided I needed to quit drinking, which I did for a while. Perhaps if this gets a few views, I'll do a follow-up. Today I fucked up on what made me actually get it under control. Anyway, a few weeks go by, and my girlfriend found the pictures of their wedding posted on Facebook. Not one picture had me in it. I absolutely cannot blame them, but that really hit hard. To this day, some 3 years later, I still haven't talked to him or anyone else much. I've been dealing with depression and anxiety and haven't really been able to bring myself to talk to him about it. Last I remember, he Reddits, so there may be a chance he'll run across this, in which case, I'm sorry. This turned out to be a whole hell of a lot longer than I anticipated, and to anyone who actually read the whole thing, thank you for letting me finally get this off my chest. Too long didn't read. I fucked up my best friend's wedding by getting blackout drunk, vomiting on myself and busting the bridge of my nose wide open. At least you recognized you had an issue with drinking. Also, you realize that your self-esteem is low and altering the reality of who you actually as a person, physically, socially, etc. If you were so awful you would not have had a partner and friends. I spent many years in my head in my own apartment and little world, and it is not healthy. If you are not fond of counseling, just try to reach out to a supportive loved one. Best of luck to you. Thank you. It's not that I'm not comfortable with counseling, I actually went to 2 sessions, and got a huge bill. You may have your drinking under control, or at least your version of control, but from reading your story I think there is still a strong echo of guilt weighing you down, from this situation and probably many others. I wish you would reconsider getting some professional help to deal with those emotions. The first thing you need to do is forgive yourself, then get back that self-esteem. Very fact this weighs so heavily on you is an indicator you are a good and moral person. Relieve yourself of your guilt and you might be surprised the person you can become. Oh, you're absolutely right. It very much bothers me pretty much every day. I don't think I need professional help with the drinking so much as therapy, as obviously the drinking stems from something else. I could certainly benefit from it. I went to a couple sessions and got a huge bill after insurance, and that was the end of that. I've got no idea how to go about forgiving myself. I never did well in school, not that it was too hard or anything, I just couldn't get the right mindset. Because of that, from a very young age my dad drilled in that I wasn't going to achieve anything and didn't deserve anything. I know it's irrational to still think that's the case, but I struggle with the effects of that every single day still. Thanks for the insight and kind words. Perhaps someday I'll have the opportunity to get the help I need. Thanks for sharing. I've got a close friend who's really been struggling with alcohol and it's affected our relationship in ways I'm still struggling to get my head down. I'd definitely be interested in reading that follow-up Today I Fucked Up. Best of wishes, mate. Thanks. I'll certainly consider throwing the other one out there. I hope your friend figures out how their drinking is affecting others and decides to get help. Can you please tell me how you got your drinking under control? Because I've been drinking like every day for the past 2 years, and I want to stop too. It wasn't really so much of an issue, to be honest. I'm probably just lucky. I don't think I was ever physically addicted. I literally just realized I had an issue and stopped. The point at which I've run into problems is when I got the mindset I've got it under control this time and just got back into old habits. I kind of got that mindset now, but no better than to let myself get back into it. It took this time and one other time that really broke me. The last time I ended up having a full-on breakdown driving home with my girlfriend, and that was enough of a wake-up call. Dude, I think you are being way too hard on yourself. You got fucked up and maybe looked dumb. You never did anything mean or with malicious intent, and I'm quite sure you didn't ruin your friend's wedding. You are absolutely worth seeking out help for working on your self-image and self-talk. The fact that you took this mistake this seriously shows you are a caring, kind person. Everybody fucks up. Hope you are doing well.